Mark stated he was on a fast track to a brilliant career, but left for only 20% more money. When making a decision in one's career, a decision can make or break your career. If you look at Mark's decision, he left a large company that gave him a lot of leeway, even though having very little experience, for another company with different products that micromanages its employees. When making a career choice, a person needs to do their research. If they do not, then what happens after their decision is completely on them. So ultimately, Mark's ability to make personal decisions is very limited. He chose the quick money instead of the long-term goals. This also plays into his ability to make business decisions. He tends to leap in with very little research or discussion. Mark should have been wary since he graduated in 1999 and had an offer from another company in 2000. This means he barely had enough experience from his first job, not even a year experience, before jumping into a management position. This should have been his first clue or a red flag that something was not quite right with his company or the position in which he was taking, because most jobs, especially larger industries, will not take someone with under a year's experience unless there's something going on within the company. There are several things happening here in this case study. One, Mark does not have the experience for the position that he was hired for. Two, Mark is young and impulsive. He does not have the patience to wait things out or do the research. Three, John recognizes Mark's lack of experience. And four, John overcompensates in order to deal with Mark's lack of experience. These four dynamics in this case study is what leads us to the case study's dynamics and the different situations that are happening within the case study itself.
Hey Jeffrey, how's it going, man?
Hey John, what's going on? How you been?
Been good. How have you been?
Good. How's your family, kids?
Dude, they're doing good. Had a nice little weekend. You know, went down to the shore for a little bit, watched some football. You know.
Did you watch that game last
Oh,
night?
Giants Cowboys, man. Oh, dude,
So
crazy.
That catch, he just reached up, just
Odell Beckham is the truth, man.
Oh.
Jeez.
He's something else. I had him on my fantasy team.
No.
I couldn't believe it. I was down by 20 points and I put him in and got me 25. I won the game. It was,
that is clutch. That's awesome, man. I was sitting there watching it with Trey, and he jumps off the couch, lost his mind. It was unreal.
Oh,
man.
he's something else. He's a good kid.
Oh yeah, dude, little 10-year-olds, I'll tell you.
Oh, they're wild, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, so I was just grabbing some coffee, wanted to check in, see how it's
thanks
going.
for stopping by.
Yeah, definitely,
it's good
man.
to see you.
Yeah.
And tell the wife and kids hello.
Yes, same to you, man. Good luck with the move.
Appreciate it. Take care. All right, man. Well, you do everything I taught you and do it to the best of your potential. You and John should be all right.
All right, good.
Good. Appreciate it. You take care.
Thank you. Mark, the hell is this garbage?
It's just, it's the project.
This is garbage.
It's what you asked me to
Absolute
do.
bullshit. That's nothing like what I asked you to do. Nothing like what I asked you to do.
But you weren't responding to my emails, and I needed
Why
to make
didn't
a
you run it by
decision.
me? Why didn't you run it by me?
I needed to make a
We have to
decision.
redo everything on this. We have to reprint all the ads, refilm, everything. This is preposterous. Nothing like what I expected of you. Nothing.
LMX, or Leader-Member Exchange Theory, is possibly in play in this case. Mark states that John seems to be closer to Jeffrey Chang than any of the other managers, but Jeffrey's position makes it necessary for him to be involved with John more than most other managers, thereby building a stronger relationship because of the time spent with each other. Jeffrey's job involves a direct attention of John because marketing can make or break a company. One could argue that marketing is the most important aspect to the development of a company's products. John does portray one of the main LMX theories by criticizing and pushing Mark away, and possibly a second LMX theory is John being so close to Jeffrey. But I would argue that there is not really enough information provided to determine if the LMX theory is in play. Our perception of the overall issue is, we believe John knows Mark is very inexperienced. He has less than 1 year of experience. He understands the concepts of marketing, but he does not have real-world experience in order to execute smart decision-making. Because of his age and lack of experience, he is impatient and is willing to make decisions based on what he thinks instead of doing the research. Because John recognizes this due to his initial 2 letters to the company, he sees his potential, but he believes he needs a lot of supervision. So his hard tactics are an attempt to train him to the company's social standards and social structure, and the way they do things or things are done within their organization. We also believe that Mark will never be able to operate to the level John wants. John wants another Jeffrey, and that's impossible to obtain, since his relationship with Jeffrey is unique. So Mark is in an impossible position, and he's also in a position to fail. Mark has several options presented to him. Should he conform to the company's ideas? Should he talk to John? Or should he resign? We feel all 3 of these options are relevant. Mark should sit down and weigh the criteria and analyze the alternatives. He needs to apply weights to what is important to him and what is not so important, and see where he stands. The decision Mark needs to make is, will he be happy if he conforms to the company's way of working? If he does conform, will he do his job effectively? If Mark cannot conform, then he should resign his position. But if Mark decides that he can conform to the company's methodologies, then he needs to talk to John. But before he talks to John, he needs to map out everything. What he recognizes as his weaknesses, and what are his strengths. He will also need to be able to talk to John and get him to recognize that he will never be Jeffrey, but he is willing to build a new relationship built on loyalty and trust. Then he needs to map out how John's current leadership methods are making him feel, and how they were keeping him from being able to perform his job effectively. He also needs to provide a solution so that Mark and John can both benefit. But if John is not willing to work with Mark, or is unable to get over the current boundary issues, then Mark should resign. But if John is willing to work with Mark, then Mark should stay and give the job his all, conforming to the company's social structures and gaining the experience to move on to new jobs within the company or outside the company. So in conclusion, John may be acceptable to the LMX theory, but Mark's lack of experience and young age also plays into the factors and what's going on within this case study. Also, if Mark believes that he can conform to the company, then he needs to sit down and write out the pros and the cons, so to say. He needs to provide weights onto what's important to him and less weights to what's less important to him. Once he does this, he needs to make a decision on whether it's beneficial for him to stay and if he can work out with John their issues. If he can, then it's absolutely perfect for him to stay. But if he believes he can't conform, then Mark needs to resign his position.